of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. We'll do a quick roll call here to determine quorum. We have Councilor Baumgartner here. Evers is absent. Ferguson here. Howard here. I'm here. We do have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order here. First piece on the agenda is the public forum portion of the meeting. This is a part of the meeting where we invite the public to address council. When addressing council, please provide your name for the meeting record. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes. If there's any unfinished business after that, we'll direct staff or perhaps open up a discussion item on the agenda to deal with the issue at hand. Is there anybody here to address council or anybody online here to address council? I'm not seeing any movement on the public forum portion of the agenda, so we'll just move on to the adopting of the agenda. We've had the agenda here. We've got a consent agenda with a number of items on there. If anybody wants to call out anything on the consent agenda for a discussion item, that would be a great time to do that.
E, please.
What? Okay, we'll make E. We'll turn that into discussion item 5F. Oh, right. Okay, 5F. Got it. Any other adjustments? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made by Baumgartner, seconded by Howard to approve the adjusted agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is set as amended. Moving down in the consent agenda, the items on the consent agenda are the meeting minutes of June 15, liquor store security cameras, resolution 64 is a step movement for Ashley Jansen. 65 is appointing election judges for the 2026 elections and setting wages. 66 is, oh, we're moving that one. 67 is acknowledging and approving an off-site gambling permit application submitted by the Olivia Ambulance Service. 68 is accepting an estimate for the fire truck repairs. And we also have the June disbursements on there. I'll call for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. So moved.
Can I ask a question on this?
Sure.
This situation with F, being that I'm a member of both organizations, is that a conflict for me to
approve the gambling permit? I don't believe so. Mary, can you weigh in? We're discussing the gambling permit for the Olivia Ambulance Service, which Councilmember Howard also serves on. Should he be abstaining, or is it, since it's a routine gambling permit, it's okay?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In my opinion, I don't think that creates a legal conflict of interest that would require recusal. It's a local consent requirement, and so I think that's pretty ministerial in nature, in my opinion.
Okay.
Thanks for checking that out.
Thank you, Mary.
We do have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as revised. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The revised consent agenda passes. We'll move down to discussion items. Discussion item A is resolution 69, authorizing the execution of the residential refuse collection services agreement with West Central Sanitation.
Yeah, so we are currently working, I believe with your packets, you all saw the draft West Central Sanitation agreement. With the holiday, we're still working on ironing out more of the administerial things for the contract. We have some questions about the curbside definition and if there are any residences, particularly those along Highway 212, which pull their trash cans to the alleyway as opposed to on the curbside, a letter of credit versus a performance bond. So it's a couple of those things that we're still finalizing those details. So we checked into the last time we passed a contract, which you guys again agreed to pass a resolution, passing the contract and authorizing the city administrator, city attorney, and the mayor to finalize hashing out those kind of the crux of the contract is still there, but it's those administrative things to hash out. So that's what resolution 69 does.
Is that the normal length of a contract with them?
This is actually 4 years. So our previous contracts have been 10-year contracts. Last time we did a 2-year contract, and so 4 years seems to be just a little bit longer. 2 years came pretty quick. It's not an insignificant amount of staff time and resources dedicated to doing these RFPs. So I felt 4 years was kind of a nice sweet spot to consider.
Yeah, it is. I just wasn't sure what the normal. A lot of things can change in 4 years.
Yep.
Good questions. Any other discussion about resolution 69? Call for a motion for its approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made by Howard, seconded by Baumgartner to approve resolution 69. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, resolution 69 passes as written. Moving down to an ordinance here. Ordinance 10 is amending chapter 95 regarding parks and recreation.
So this is the second reading of the ordinance. We discussed this at our last meeting as well. And what this does is this clarifies that having a bonfire in a city designated fire pit at Memorial Park Campground is approved. Also, after encountering issues with people smoking in park restrooms, we wanted to specifically add into our code to address smoking and vaping in our public parks. And so that is what this ordinance is doing. And just to reiterate, this was done in consultation with our city attorney, with our public works department, and with our police department as well.
Do we take action on that right now then?
Yes.
Okay.
To approve it.
I'll call for a motion to approve ordinance 10.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Ferguson, seconded by Baumgartner to approve ordinance 10. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ordinance 10 passes as written. Okay, we have a first reading here of ordinance 11, amending chapter 152 of the Olivia City Code relating to access driveways.
So as you may recall, twice this year, there's a memo that's been presented to City Council accompanying a resolution requested from 2 different residents who have requested to make their driveways wider than 24 feet at the curb, which is what has been in our code. It was after the second one of these that Councilmember Evers asked the Planning Commission to look into this code to see if it needed updates. They did agree more and more people as they are building houses, as they are expanding. A 3-car garage out here is becoming more of a norm, if you can fit it, versus a 2-car garage. And so they considered that, and they're proposing in this ordinance to change that from 24 feet wide to 36 feet wide along the curb or the alleyway, the access point. We also consulted with our city engineers. They have no concerns changing it from 24 to 36.
So is this just for new builds or is this for anybody who wants to widen their driveway?
If you would like to widen your driveway, you certainly can. It can be 36 feet. You will obviously be paying for the curb cut, the concrete, everything like that. But yes, now once this is approved, so that's at the first reading. So at our next meeting in July, once this takes effect, then people can have it 36-foot wide, measured along the property line.
Any other discussion about 36-foot wide driveways?
Is there a downside we need to consider?
Yeah, I mean, the only downside, I guess, would be less grass, more driveway, more vehicles kind of parked in on properties that'd be visible. But the upsides probably outweigh them, many to one. Just taking a look at how we're trying to update the building code and these other codes to promote growth and development. It'll make properties probably worth more.
Yeah, property value will increase.
Yeah. So the upsides definitely, the planning commission felt that the upsides definitely outweigh the downsides. Good questions. Okay, we have Now, any more on the 36-foot wide driveways? All right, we'll move on to the first reading of Ordinance 12, which is also amending Chapter 152, and this is pertaining to accessory building setbacks.
Yeah, so it was discovered that when we were looking at the district bulk regulations and we were updating those across residential districts 1 and 2, the side yard setbacks listed in chapter 152 pertaining to accessory building setbacks is its own number. It's not the same as the district bulk regulations set out in that district. So we went forward with updating that here. The minimum side yard setback shall comply with the bulk regulations of the zoning district in which the property is located. We also are encountering these situations where these very small 200 square feet sheds, according to this ordinance, had to be 10 feet away from their primary structure, including 10 feet away from an attached garage, which some people just want them nestled up right onto their attached garage. And so this amendment also clarifies that you can put one of those small sheds, 200 feet or less, right there attached to a garage or right up abutting to a garage, as opposed to requiring it to be 10 foot away from an attached garage. And I don't know, John, do you want to add anything from the planning commission?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about aesthetics and all that as well, and you know, again, it comes down to making Olivia a more development friendly community. People are needing more storage, you know, there's a need for people to store their stuff. And this is one way to make that a little easier for our citizens to do, I suppose. Any other conversation here about ordinance 12? Okay, we'll move on to resolution 70. This is calling for a public hearing on proposed ordinance 11 and 12, which are amending chapter 152 of the city code. These two ordinances we just heard about with the first readings. Basically, we've got to call a public hearing in order to pass these ordinances, so that's what this resolution is for. I'll call for a motion for its approval. So
Second.
motion's been made by Baumgartner, seconded by Ferguson to approve resolution 70, which is the public hearing on the ordinances amending chapter 152. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 70 passes as written. And now we'll move down to discussion item 5F, which is resolution 66, authorizing an on-call stipend for the chief.
Yeah, so this is a recommendation that's forwarded to you all from the personnel committee. It's consideration of an on-call stipend for the police chief when the police chief is required to cover on-call shifts due to police department staffing shortages. As you're all very aware, the last 6 months in our police department staffing wise have been quite volatile. So we've had some times when we've been fully staffed, sometimes when we have not. And so the chief has stepped up to be an on-call. And so we're looking at the other exempt employees. So the other salaried employees in the city are the city administrator, the liquor store manager, as well as the police chief. The police chief is the only one of those exempt employees who really have on-call responsibilities. And so it was at the personnel committee's recognition of that kind of really unique operational need that they're proposing to provide a stipend when the police chief is on call. One stipend for a weekday on-call shift and one for the weekend.
Knowing our current situation, is this enough? Is this enough to cover what we need covered while we're short? Is it enough to compensate appropriately for the coverage that he is doing, because let's face it, none of us in here wanna work for free, and if you worked on a contract and you negotiated a contract to be paid for 40 hours a week and you're working 60 hours a week, well, then somebody's breached contract.
So that was our number one goal on the personnel committee and discussion that we had with Elizabeth, was to clarify that he's not having to pull 60 hours and getting paid for 40. Like, that's one thing. That's a good question, because that's the first thing that John and I are like, wait a minute, we can't be having him doing all this extra time at that. But no, so his salaried hours are movable. He could do the salaried hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, take Friday off, be on call Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to do extra hours. He can move those hours around. What we're talking about is the extra hours, like you're saying, where he gets put on call to make sure that he's covered and paid for that above the salary cap. Because like Elizabeth says, it's a unique situation. And so it goes further if he goes on for like 4 hours, right? If he actually comes on.
Well, yeah, if there's a time where
There's a different pay scale if he comes on. That's just on call.
this is on call, we were talking about, you know, if the police chief had to come in for 2 hours during an on-call situation, then again, with the option a salaried employees have to flex those hours, you can flex those hours elsewhere. So that's salaried employees. Yes, the goal is 40 hours. Due to different operational needs, you can find yourself flexing through multiple different times, to just depending upon the operations, the work that you're assigned, and the projects that you're trying to achieve. And so, but
So
everybody has the option for salaried employees to flex their time depending upon if they need to come in on a Saturday versus a Friday, as well as one of the benefits assigned to salary employees is they don't have to take hours off if it's less than 4 hours. So if there's an afternoon where somebody is coming in the afternoon and a salaried employee needs to leave, if it's under that 4 hour cap, you don't log that as an absence or have to take PTO or anything like that. That allows those salaried employees that flexibility.
So we made sure. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not sure if we're explaining it the way, but it was like extensively explained to us that if the hours are made like on the weekend, let's say he does 10 hours on the weekend, then there's that pay, but there's also him then taking 10 hours off during the week, moving it around. So he's still within only that hourly range.
I would say with 4 people, it's hard. I'd say if we reduce anybody else, we will have to revisit this topic. And I mean, we've had conversations with Sheriff Hable that if we need to stop doing 24/7 coverage, which we've been doing, and have emergencies put to the sheriff's office for this short time while we are unstaffed, the county can cover those emergencies if we have a specific number of hours not covered, and then we will pick up where we need to.
Well, and as romantic as that arrangement may sound, they're short up there as well, are they not?
They are, yes.
Okay, so
They
how are
did
they
just
going to
hire
cover-
3 people. Right? They hired 3 people this week? Yeah. I would say, again, 4 people is hard. Chief will sit here and say 4 people in this department covering, right? 2 patrol officers, a sergeant, and a chief. 4 people is hard to offer the same amount of coverage that has become the expectation that this council has set. And we are actively working to hire for the position. We do have an application for the position as well. So we are actively working on it. And this is just fluctuations that you have in a lot of departments where duties get reassigned due to staffing shortages and just for that temporary time, and then they're reassessed once the department is full.
I know from the work that I've done and the homework that I've done on this, he's an administrative person.
Mm-hmm.
So to pull him from the administrative duties and put him on the street more
It's an
And saying
administrative
that you can-
position.
And saying that you can flex,
Mhm.
there's only a certain amount of time that you can flex
Yeah.
those things if he's gotta be making phone calls and
Yeah.
talking to attorneys or
Sure.
whatnot like that. There's only a certain amount of time that can be flexed.
Mhm.
So that's a concern that I've got. I don't wanna see that we're pushing the chief to flex on a weekend when he can't get any of those administrative duties done, cause we're going backwards then.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that concern. The chief of police description has patrol officer responsibilities included in that position description. So
Correct.
it is listed as a responsibility, which again, when we're fully staffed, you're right, it doesn't have to be that way, but when we do have these departmental shortages, we do need to have that flexibility of coverage.
And that is like the last option. No, nobody's throwing him into the schedule every other weekend or something like that.
He's in the schedule for
You
July quite a bit
I have three coming up this month.
for Saturday.
That's not to mention. the
No,
fact-
you make the schedule?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I'm told Aaron, who does the schedule, use me how you need me. That's what I'm here for. I don't have to agree with it, but the hours need to be covered, so. That's what we're doing.
And
I
that's
would-
because we have 24-hour coverage.
Either on call or active, yeah. We've cut back a lot of hours and taking call time instead of being actually in the car, to reduce our overtime, and we're scheduling less hours. But the fact of the matter is we have, one soldier that does drill, we have, three of them that take vacation, that, not including me. So it's just trying to work those things out. This is probably the hardest time of year to do it. But there's no guarantee. Like I said, we have somebody, and your baby comes along, well, then we lost another one for 3 months, and it's just, we've been going through this cycle for, I don't know how many years, 4 or 5 years, constantly being struggling to keep our fifth person. And we know that's because of the supply and demand and the lack of candidates. And so it's just an ongoing thing. Every year we deal with, it seems like. We try to do our best with the guys we hire. We pray to God they work out. And in the end, they haven't. So I don't have an answer for that anymore.
I wonder if we don't look at, again, the reduction of service, so we maybe don't cover 24 hours a day and then make 4 the standard number of officers that they have.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but I'm also getting really burned out on trying to train people that don't last. Or that aren't going to stay, and then here we find ourselves this way again.
Yeah.
Reduced coverage, and I know Sheriff Abel he's got staffing that can do the emergencies, but like this last weekend, Renville needed our help. So we ended up covering basically the west end of the county because Scott had stuff going on, and then there was deaths, and anyway. We got a call from Renville, we said, yeah, we'll help, we'll do whatever we have to, keep you guys going, the county's way ways, and that's how we worked it out, but it's a challenge, it's tough.
I think if we wanna have a more in-depth discussion with some of these topics that might be a bit sensitive, we might wanna do a workshop or something to have a more.
We can do it, yeah.
Sure.
As for now, this specific, at least giving them a stipend. We can take action on that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, we're
Right.
kinda going off
Yeah,
the
right.
main topic, so let's
Yeah.
come back to the state. Valid, all valid questions and questions that, we had too, but.
There's a lot to get it.
But at the end of the day, our priority from everybody is that you're not getting overworked. Is without the proper game.
Okay. Any other discussion on resolution 66? Call for a motion of its approval.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 66.
Second.
Motion's been made by Ferguson, seconded by Baumgartner to approve resolution 66. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Right.
Any opposed? All right, resolution 66 passes. And we'll move down to the next part of our agenda, which is staff reports.
Yeah, so if you haven't taken a look at Nestor Park recently, please do. The Nestor Park half-court basketball court has been completely redone, as well as the Nestor Park Shelter Project Phase 1 has been completed too. It looks very nice, just in time for Corn Capital Days. Over the past 2 weeks, I've done some traveling for some conferences. So 2 weeks ago, I was at the League of Minnesota Cities annual conference. And there was a really good sessions. We talked, the opening keynote speaker talked a lot about civility, the power of dignity for life and leadership. There were also great sessions on combating misinformation, state of rural Minnesota, and connecting council and administration. I'm also delighted to report back. I was nominated and elected to a 2-year term at the League of Minnesota Cities Board of Directors. So I will be back on the board for 2 years, which is very exciting. And I appreciate, all of your guys' support doing that. It typically is about a meeting a month where I'm in the Twin Cities for the board meetings. So it's a good group of people, learn a lot about cities, get to advocate for smaller cities. So yeah, very excited to be continuing that work. Last week, Jody and myself were in Boston for the American Public Power Association annual conference. There we got some great insight into the energy market outlook for the United States. Of course, the hot topic was data centers. As you can imagine, that was also a very hot topic at the League's conference. Also attended good sessions from outages to engagement, how to modernize some of our customer communications, how to communicate different rate changes to various audiences, and the role of public power in economic development. So made a lot of good connections, took a lot of good notes on different things, and looking forward to implement some of those items here. And as a reminder for the APPA annual conference, our association with MMPA is the reason that Jody and I go, because MMPA covers expenses for board members and alternates for those conferences, which is great. Also, we had a 2-hour-long Corn Capital Days meeting today. So the planning is continuing for that. If you haven't gotten your t-shirts yet, if you haven't gotten your raffle tickets yet, I would encourage everybody to do so. The full slate of activities should be released this week.
Okay, thank you very much, Elizabeth, and thank you to all the volunteers on Corn Capital Days for planning and executing the wonderful annual event for us. Any other reports from staff? Any other reports from council?
Question.
Mhm.
I know that there have been citations sent for some of these issues that we have with some of the blight properties. And we've got to wait for the legal system to do its thing.
Yeah.
How is there any way to push that? I mean, the one across from me, there's 40 tires out back behind that house. We've talked about it. I've had past councilmen that have approached me about this subject that said once upon a time there was councils that went and did something because of an eyesore and the public safety element at Olivia Tire, which is in a commercial district away from residential homes, and they made them clean up the tires and get rid of them because of the hazard that they do create with bringing the mosquitoes and what have you like that. This issue is in a residential area.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're getting into, it's not going to get any cooler for a little while. And water inside those tires is a breeding grounds that mosquitoes love.
So if you want to stay after with me after the meeting, I can follow up. I can see we have tracking spreadsheets. I can see where we're at in that process. So let's chat after the meeting.
Okay. Because this frustration is coming not only from myself, but from many of my neighbors. And it's not fair to the neighbors that do the right thing to have to deal with this continually. And it seems like every time an issue is brought up and the chief is doing his part, but how long it takes to get it fixed, it's unreasonable.
It takes quite a long time, you're right. But let's sit down after this. We'll look at where everything is and follow up.
Okay, any other reports from council?
Just go with that, if the dates haven't been set for the hearings, a judge did pass away, so they're sharing, taking her dates, so it might make it push it back further, just so you know.
Okay.
All right, we have a couple notices out there.
Yes, so I am here to inquire about everyone's availability for Wednesday, August 19th for our budget work session. No pressure, but we have confirmed this date with all department head staffs. So that works for really well for the amount of staff we have to organize to attend this hearing. So I'm really hoping that this date works. I have already confirmed with council member Evers that it works. So really hoping it works. Howie's already shaking his head. Are you gone that week?
We are. Our son is getting married on.
He can move that. That's not as important.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna tell that young lady that that's what she's gotta do.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know 100% when I'm going on vacation, but it's either that week or the week before, or the week after.
Okay.
Just take all three.
This is why I'm trying to put a budget work session on everyone's calendar before vacation.
And then in
schedule.
September, I have to go to California, so I won't be around.
Can I ask what time you leave? Would that Tuesday the 18th be better?
No,
Or are you gone the whole
we're
week?
gone the whole week.
You're gone the whole week. Okay. What is there any, I don't think there's any time the week before that works for everybody, correct?
I'm good after the 11th.
You're good after the 11th.
Yep, we have. Yes.
What about the 5th? 5th, 6th? Are you around?
That's really early, but we can.
I'm open on those
Yeah,
dates
it's like,
until 11:30.
Is the 5th or 6th better for people?
Good by me.
probably the 5th.
The 5th? Okay.
We'll like this extra week, I think. Have you in the budget?
Right after Corn Capital Week.
Yeah, no pressure, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sleeping at
Oh,
all.
I can do the 6th as well.
Thank you for the extra day. I really appreciate that. We were just talking about trying not to burn staff out. Okay, 6th?
Well, I mean, if you give me a day or two to figure out when I'm leaving, where I'm going.
All right, so the week of the 17th doesn't work at all for Councilor Howard. I would love to consider the 12th or the 13th if I'm being
That's what I'm
honest.
saying, like,
Okay.
give me a day to
Okay.
see if I can just figure out to go the same week he's gone.
I'll block them both off here.
Let's block them both off. If we could block off the
I think
12th or
we
the
said
13th
4:30 or something.
as well as the 6th. Oh,
Neither one of those are, I can go back to the 6th, but the 12th or the 13th.
doesn't work.
We've got,
Okay,
we're at a wedding and a birthday.
I thought it was the 19th.
he's at a wedding for the
That's-
19th as well.
Our son is getting married that week. We're going to be up north, but our nephew is getting married on the 13th and we'll be in Iowa. It's
So many
Walter's
celebrations.
birthday. I know August is big for us.
I don't know. Are you gonna air out your clothing in time for your sons?
Yeah. We don't wear the same suit, some of us have more than one.
I mean, the
It's not like Iowa.
other option would be
Go back.
the other option would be something like September 2nd or 3rd.
That I probably could do.
That Wednesday, Thursday after before Labor Day.
If you guys are cool with it, I am.
That's just really early in August, and I know we're gonna be doing budget meetings up until then.
How about the 3rd, cause I got Owen's move-in day on the 1st and 2nd.
Okay,
Okay,
1 second.
I can do the 3rd.
May come in on there.
As far as I know.
I think I can carry you more than you. What are you worried about them for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay, so September 3rd,
What time?
5:30.
Who's bringing dinner?
Yeah, we will be distributing menus. Jasmine does an excellent job distributing menus at the August 17th meeting. But you will not be there, so you will have to email us your Max's order.
5:30 to 10, I have
5:30 to whenever.
midnight.
Unless if you all would like to start, do you have flexibility to start earlier?
I would for a budget session.
Yeah.
Do we have flexibility to start?
So we're getting
earlier?
lunch and dinner.
Or, I mean, if we get out by 8, sure.
12:30 then.
right, 4 o'clock,
4:00
or can we go, I mean,
Wait, are you gonna be back though?
on the 3rd.
so.
You're not spending the night?
I'm
Are you able to
they-
leave it?
the-
You're gonna stay there. 5:30, 4.
4 p.m. if that works for people. September 3rd. I'm not gonna say no to having us start this process earlier. I don't think staff will disagree with that.
Okay, that'll be like the weekend that we get back.
Right.
Well, come on, we all enjoy each other's company talking about the city budget.
I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're gonna tentative. I'm still waiting to hear back from George, but pencil September. Oh, George says as of now, yes.
Oh, look at that, instantaneous feedback.
I am currently for the leave calendars I have access to. It's looking clear.
I just accepted it.
I think ChatGPT added those people when Troy was adding it to his calendar. So I think I have it. Okay,
All right.
thank you, everybody.
And also,
Thursday, September 3rd.
Thursday, September 3rd, 4 p.m.
if all you people listening right now are interested in participating in the city council process, your dates to file are any day between July 14th through the 28th. There will be 2 council positions up for re-election, and the mayor position is up every 2 years for re-election as well. And now I'm going to call for a motion to close this meeting pursuant to Minnesota statute section 13D.05 subdivision 2A2 to engage in preliminary discussions of allegations of misconduct of law enforcement personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to close the meeting. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
All right,
Any opposed? We are now going into closed session. Thank you, chief.
And we are gonna. Mr. Mayor, you'd like to provide the summary.
See if anybody has some.
Maybe then I'll look for it. Feel like you know, some bit more sort of.
Should be able to identify themselves.
Not that.
It's called this way.
Do you respectfully decline one?
Okay, we're coming back here from a closed meeting, closed session into back into the open meeting. And council's directing staff to hire a third-party investigator to look into allegations. Can I get somebody to make a formal motion for that?
I make a motion to direct staff to hire a third-party investigator to look into allegations.
So second.
And there's a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Well, with nothing else on the agenda here, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Ferguson, seconded by Howard to adjourn. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.
Can I steal you for 3 minutes?